Swadika, welcome to Thailand today. I'm Chalapansa Narula. Thanks for joining. One of the notable trends for 2003 is that the real estate market is growing both in and outside Bangkok. Markets for properties by the beach is surging as city dwellers are seeking for a holiday home. To find out more on that, today we'll be speaking with the Executive Chairman of Colliers International Thailand, Mr. Simon Landy. Swadika.
Swadika.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simon, for joining us today. First of all, tell us a bit about the second home market or the holiday homes. How big is this segment?
It's huge and growing. I mean, the holiday homes in Thailand are really spread out all over the country these days. And you look at what it used to be, which was mainly a second home market for expats, mostly living in Hong Kong or Singapore, coming to buy here. But these days, it's also a huge market for Thai nationals as well.
Mm-hmm. So the reason that has been driving the growth of holiday homes, has that been because of the floods in 2011?
The floods certainly helped the Hua Hin market, but I think that's just a temporary thing that happens, from time to time.
Okay.
The real thing driving the holiday home market is obviously the growth in the middle class, changing demographic patterns, because the real growth in recent years has been from domestic demand.
Mm-hmm. Now, which areas are developers focusing on basically for developing holiday homes?
Developers, Thai developers, as you know, the big Thai developers have traditionally focused very much on the Bangkok market, and these days they've done an extremely good job in producing product in all levels of the market, from high end to low end. But now that the market in Bangkok is much more competitive, a lot of them are moving out of Bangkok, looking for opportunities in the upcountry markets, including the resort markets. Mm-hmm. So they're looking all over the place.
I see.
So Phuket, Samui a little bit, not so much. Hua Hin definitely, Pattaya, and Khao Yai, Chiang Mai.
Let's talk about Hua Hin. I see a lot of new projects coming up. Every time I drive to that place, you would see like signs everywhere, new projects. Is it really hot at the moment?
It's a hot market. Hua Hin market used to be focused pretty much on Hua Hin and its immediate area. But now it stretches all the way from Cha Am, all the way down to Hua Hin and beyond to Khao Takiap and Khao Tao.
So the demand is growing?
The demand is mainly from domestic demand again, and yes, it's definitely growing.
Okay, let's talk about some of the projects that were successfully launched, the take-up rates. How has it been in Cha Am? I hear that it's been pretty successful.
Well, our experience has been great. To be honest, it's been fantastic. We're representing a project down there, Bantu Tale, from Chanisra Group with Sahapat. And that project is in two phases. The first phase has about 270 units, 90% sold out. Second phase was launched more recently. It has another about 420 units, and already that's 40% sold. Mm-hmm. And just today, in fact, they had the stone setting ceremony. So construction's moving ahead well. It's a hot project.
So that's Bantu Tale?
Yes.
But otherwise, the projects coming up in Hua Hin or in Cha Am, the demand is there. There's no concerns of an oversupply, right?
But when you talk about oversupply, I think you need to be careful how you define it, because it's a discretionary product. People are not buying these homes for their lifestyle, everyday life. They generally live in Bangkok, move there at the weekend. So supply-demand balances are not the same as they would be in the Bangkok market, because it's a second choice, or sometimes a third choice. So oversupply only happens if demand dries up, and we're not seeing that at the moment.
Okay, that's good. So in Cha Am, has it become a favorite place over Hua Hin these days for new developers to find locations and develop interesting projects?
I don't think so. I think they're both popular markets. They both offer different types of amenities and facilities. Hua Hin, of course, is the traditional holiday destination for Bangkokians, and I think it will always remain that. Prices have gone up a lot. Cha Am is nearer. It has equally good, some would say maybe better, beaches, and it has more of a local feel, I'd say. And a lot of people prefer that.
What's the average selling price of the projects in Cha'am or Hua Hin?
Well, they vary great. The range is quite wide. I can give you the example from Bantu-Talay. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the pricing there started at about 77,000 baht per square meter, and now it's around 85,000. So in the last 6 months or so, it's gone up quite a bit, and we see further upside there. Of course, there are some projects that are looking at over 100,000 in Hua Hin, and that's really a factor of the land cost, because land prices in Hua Hin are still quite a bit higher than they are in Cha'am.
And the lands are limited as well by the beach these days, so that's what's driving the price. Now, the growth in the holiday home markets in Hua Hin and Cha'am, is it a long-term trend?
It's been going on for a generation at least, so I would consider that a long-term trend.
So there's more room to grow?
Yes, I mean, the market will mature and will change, but it will always be popular. And I think there's even talk of potentially a high-speed train down to Hua Hin, although it's not that far away, but a better access would definitely improve the market. There's a lot of land, not necessarily seafront land, but at the back, the hinterland, where there's potential for golf courses and more residential, long-stay retirement living. And that's only just beginning, I think.
So when we talk about the growth, is it only the condominiums? What about the housing market? The, what do you call, the single detached homes? Single detached homes.
I would say in the most recent trend has seen condominiums become much more popular, where housing has become not less popular, but it hasn't grown at the same rate. And I think this is partly because a lot of the buyers of housing tend to be expats, not really Thais so much. And the expat market has definitely been hit since the global financial crisis, 2008. And so demand there has grown more slowly. And also I think because of the difficulty of purchasing land that foreigners experience in Thailand.
Now, as for Pranbury, which is not too far away from Hua Hin, I believe that that's another growing market. Is it true?
I think it's still quite new. There are a few projects down there. It is quite a way. It's another at least 30, 45 minutes from Hua Hin. So I think the market, unless the pricing is very competitive, it's still seen as a little bit too far for most developers.
I would agree. It's another 40 minutes away from Hua Hin. Now, as for the target buyers, both in Cha'am, Hua Hin, and even in Pranbury, it continues to be Thais, the domestic market. But are we seeing a lot more foreigners coming to buy homes these days?
I think there's been a wave. It comes and goes in waves. Traditionally, the foreign buyers that were very hot on that area and even were prepared to go down to Pranbury, even Chumphon, with the Scandinavians. And even today, if you go down to that area, you'll find a lot of small projects which are almost exclusively Swedish or Scandinavian. So the Scandinavian market is a bit of an outlier in that sense. They tend to go for something a bit remote and exotic. But the traditional market for second homes in Thailand has come from the region, and we are seeing more Asian buyers look at Singaporeans, Hong Kong, even Chinese, Koreans, a little bit of Japanese, looking at these markets, Pattaya, Hua Hin.
So it's very busy. It's an active market. And you mentioned Pattaya. How is it doing? How busy is Pattaya these days? Where are the prime locations? And tell us about some of the interesting projects there.
Okay. Well, Pattaya, has grown into this huge city. Its reputation hasn't always been the best, but these days I think it's seen as a more diverse and multifaceted city than it used to be. It's really, if you look at the population, it's one of the largest cities in Thailand these days. Because apart from the old resort attractions, you also have a lot of new attractions coming in, as well as the industrial heartland of Lem Chabang, Maptaput. So you get a wide cross-section, not only of Thai residents, but also of expats living down there. So it's a very vibrant market indeed.
What about the selling price? It must be really expensive, is it, in Pattaya?
Really expensive.
Is it?
Depends how you measure expensive, but it's gone up certainly, and there are different levels. In fact, I would say that most of the market is not expensive. The bulk of sales, especially to the incoming expats, and even to many of the Thais, is probably in the 2 to 3 million baht range, which is,
That's affordable.
It's affordable, yeah.
But then again, when we have like really luxurious projects aiming at the foreigners, projects as such, how much price would they command? Is it like over 100,000 per square meter?
Definitely. And if you look at the best product down there, which is often associated with a luxury hotel, not always, they are looking at over 100,000 a square meter these days. So very similar to Bangkok prices
It is.
at the top end of the market.
Are we only seeing domestic players, as in domestic developers, or do we have like foreign developers making projects, to cater to the expats too, in places like Pattaya?
We do, indeed we do. In fact, until probably 1 or 2 years ago, I would say most of the active developers were foreign. And for some reason that I'm not quite sure, but a number of them are from Israel. And the Israeli developers have been very successful in Pattaya and have developed some very good projects. What has happened in the last couple of years is the Thai developers, especially the big listed Thai developers, have moved into the market and they've brought their buyers with them. So these projects are doing very well, aimed mostly at a Thai market. And one thing that the Thai developers do very well, that most of the foreign developers have more difficulty doing, is offering very generous payment terms. So whereas most
installments,
installments, whereas the foreign developers often require a larger amount up front, the Thai developers, because of their financing structure, can offer a more gradual installment process.
I hear that some of the buyers from Bangkok actually buy to speculate or buy to rent the places out. So if we talk about speculation or even the rental market, how big is it these days?
Well, I think that's a really tough question.
It's a good business.
It's a good business, and yeah, I think you mentioned two things: speculate and to buy to rent, and they're very different. The speculators tend to come in early on the project, in any market, and try to sell out before the completion. And so it's difficult to measure that because a lot of people who may go in as a speculator are unable to flip it and end up as an investor. So it's not a hard and fast division. But certainly there's a number of people who buy into the market to rent out. And this is not just Thai buyers buying in. There are a number of very big projects in Pattaya which are sold to overseas buyers. And the Russian market in particular has bought heavily into many projects. And like the Scandinavians, these people may come and visit for 3 months a year. And the rest of the time it's empty, so that they will definitely put it on the market for rent.
So that's where you come in as well, to help
Indeed.
manage?
Yes, yes.
All right, we'll now take a short break. When Thailand Today returns, we'll take a look at the markets up north in Chiang Mai, and also we'll go to Colliers to see how busy is the market there. Stay with us.